Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of the Baldur's Gate Saga with SCS. And before we get going, we have one quick thing to take care of, because I've realized that in the previous episode, while preparing that scribing session for Senashira and Imoen, I've actually missed a couple of spells. So Senashira still needs to learn Shape Change and Gate, and Imoen still needs Pierce Shield, Non-Detection, and Protection from normal missiles. So let's quickly chug a couple of Potions of Genius, and complete their spell libraries. We're also going to set them up with some spell sequencers, and then we'll be ready for some more adventures. Alright, and Senashira is going to get her standard triple remove magic spell sequencer, while for Imoen I think we're going to prepare a triple secret word one, because there are some mage fights up ahead that we want to be ready for. And we also have a level up to do on Imoen, and we're going to get to that in a second. Alright, so Imoen is going to be a level 19 mage, which means an additional level 8 memorization slot and another one level 7 coming from the high level ability. So now she's getting somewhere. Now she's cooking with gas. And actually I'm going to think more in detail about those spell selections the next time we're about to rest, but for now we can examine the aftermath of our final encounter in the previous episode and loot some stuff, like this figurine here. We're going to talk about it in a second. Unfortunately, it's not a good item.
I can hold no more.
Anyway, this is dropped by Kaiser Jerry, this Shakti figurine, and it basically sets your base armor class to -5, which is a pretty decent amount. And it also transforms you into a warrior, I guess wielding a +4 short sword and having 2 attacks per round. But there's a couple of problems with this item. First of all, the effect only lasts for 4 rounds. Second, it's not usable by any type of fighter or barbarian, and that means that, for example, if you use it on a mage, it's not something that is going to transform you into a capable fighter, because your low mage Thaco, for example, is not going to be upgraded. This only upgrades the armor class, gives you the weapon and 2 attacks per round. So the unfortunate thing about it is that you get it so late in the game in Throne of Bhaal, because this base armor class that this sets to -5 is actually a pretty decent amount, and this stacks, of course, with the armor class bonuses we get from dexterity or rings of protection, that kind of stuff. But the problem is that it's Throne of Bhaal already, and our armor class is not that big of a deal. It's not going to really provide any survivability to a mage that doesn't have any more spell protections or something like that. And the duration is very short, so I don't know, maybe if you're a monk, for example, and you don't have your fists being +4 enchanted yet, and you really need that +4 weapon to hurt an enemy, perhaps because, you know, the Scarlet Ninjato is only +3, and you know, if your fists are not up to snuff yet, then I don't know, perhaps, or maybe a cleric or a cleric mage. You know, with the cleric buffs you can get your Thaco up to a great amount, and this at least gives you 2 attacks per round, but you know, it's only 4 rounds. Anyway, it has 1 use per rest, and we're just going to get rid of it, together with all of these other basic magic items that we're going to get. We also got a really nice potion of magic shielding. Always nice to get some of those. Yeah, some basic equipment that we're going to sell later. We have to unlock this and check the containers. And then we'll be ready to go and loot Kaiser's abode, the upstairs part of it.
Quickly and precisely. Very well. Without hesitation.
And there's just basically different types of minor random loot, and I think this last room doesn't really have anything. Yeah.
Speak. This will not take long.
Anyway, in the basement we have obtained this Starfall ore, which is a crafting ingredient used to upgrade a mace called Stormstar that we're going to be able to get in Watcher's Keep later. So get a project image scroll. And now we're ready. So, to properly conclude this whole quest with Countess Santel, Kaiser Jerry, the falsely incriminated Matteo, we can go to the Countess and inform her about our success. She's going to be grateful and give us 2,000 gold and some personalized experience. You know, when you do all of these little minor quests involving the downtrodden population of Saradush, these minor personalized experience amounts do add up to a decent amount. But anyway, the thing about this quest, unfortunately, is that it doesn't have like that much of a satisfying conclusion, because Matteo is going to be gone from his prison already, so we can't really talk to him and hear, you know, his grateful voice, I guess. And, you know, Captain Samand just vanishes after that first exchange. So, unfortunately, this is it when it comes to that quest. Here we're going to release our familiar, and I think, yeah, it's still injured. So actually, let's use some of these scrolls that Animan now carries, that we have looted over the course of the game, and just quickly heal him. I'm not going to use a whole full heal on the familiar. Alright, still barely injured. And we're going to make ourselves invisible here, because I do want to showcase something. We're learning from our mistakes here, not doing it outside, or we can get interrupted, and Saravok was out of range. So he is... this is just... impeccable gameplay. Anyway, he's just going to get a potion of invisibility then. We're going to just reveal Senashira. She needs to still do some talking, and first we're going to go finally to that Temple of Waukeen. And here we have Sister Fariel. There's some random loot, and we actually got a magical weapon, which is going to sell for a little bit. And this water opal is always there. Got some scrolls as well. Morning Star +1. Sweet. Anyway, we can talk to Sister Fariel, and first let's just ask her some usual questions about Gromnir, Melisande, and whatnot. Yeah, Gromnir is a tormented man, afflicted in both spirit and mind. The taint of Bhaal poisons his blood and tortures his soul. Yeah, he has become very cruel, locked himself away, of course, in the castle. Now, Melisande, a virtuous woman, a truly kind and compassionate lady. She brought the Boltspawn to Saradush to find them sanctuary within its walls. It is not her fault that Gromnir took advantage of our hospitality. She meant well. Well, it seems like she made a strong impression on Sister Fariel. Let's just leave it at that. And now, if we talk to her about what Pirgam told us about that sealed prison, or if we just ask about Gromnir and then ask if she knows a way to get into the castle, this is going to lead us to the same conversation, basically. And yeah, we have a little choice. We have to find a way. And if you are good or neutral aligned, she is going to say this, that we do not seem like an evil person with bad intentions, so she is going to help us. And if you are evil, she is actually not going to give us the key to the prison that she sealed. And here she's going to tell us about it once again. Basically what Pirgam told us. Several years ago I was asked to seal the entrance to the city jail to keep a great evil from escaping into the city. As a cleric of some power, I was the only one who could do so. I am loath to reopen the entrance lest the evil escape into the city, but if you think you can reason with Gromnir or aid the city somehow, perhaps it is worth the risk. I sensed that powerful undead creatures had taken up residence in the abandoned jail cells. More than this I cannot say, though I would suggest you bring holy water with you before going down there. And yes, there actually is a use for holy water. And we still have one spare copy, but I'm actually going to, I think, get a few. Maybe we can show how the holy water can be used from our quick slot as a usable item against undead. Yeah, of course, once we're down there, we're not going to be protected in any way. And we get some experience for procuring that key. And also, we have of course met those elves that we have saved from the harassment of Gromnir's soldiers outside, that they couldn't find a place to stay, and Sister Fariel is going to take them in under the roof of the temple. The elves are welcome to come here for refuge, or as are any who suffer. Had I but known they had no place to stay, I would surely have made them the offer. Alright, so we can inform them. There's Oris, by the way, Nimblefinger, whom we had had a conversation with earlier. Now we can inform them. And they are actually going to go to the temple. We get a little bit more experience once again. And I think now, yeah, we have that key, of course, to open the prison. And the door to it is right here. But we're actually not going to go in yet. We're first going to do something else. Oh yeah, here the elves start appearing inside.
This will not take long.
And they're just going to stay in the temple from now on. Anyway,
What is it?
now we have some different stuff to do. First we're going to explore the sewers. As we have heard, Gromnir's soldiers have no problem apparently gaining access to the sewers, and they are going to have the key in their barracks. So there are two entrances there, and we're going to unlock both of the entrances. And basically why I went with invisibility and all that is because going in and out of the barracks is a big transition, like zone transition, that gives us the autosave. So we have to enter with our whole party. And that means that we cannot leave some of our undesirable, I guess, party members outside. And I say undesirable because I just wanted to show that these Gromnir soldiers here all have non-magical weapons. So they are going to be able to do absolutely nothing to Senashira and Kiranai, who are immune to such weapons. Yeah, so of course we can say that Gromnir's days of bullying this town are over, or I go where I want, when I want. And this is of course going to end up in a fight. If we say that we're actually going to leave, he is not going to go hostile until a couple of seconds later, so you do have the opportunity to leave or just position yourself better or something like that. Anyway, so that's how we want it. Fine by me. Slaughtering civilians is always fun. Kind of like a cartoonishly evil guy. Yeah, so they're all going to go hostile. And this is just going to be a slaughter of them. Because, of course, they cannot do anything to us. As you can see, there are some weapon ineffective messages for them. Well, it's too bad for you. And they do receive some reinforcements. Let's just not make it such a traffic jam here. This is kind of funny that they can do absolutely nothing. I think this should stop by now. If you kill them quickly enough, they basically stop appearing, but perhaps... Yeah, it seems like there are 3 waves of reinforcements, if you're not quick enough. Yeah, so like I said, of course this was a little bit more trouble than it was worth perhaps, but I just wanted to showcase that there are some uses for those immunities to non-magical weapons. And actually when it comes to Senashira's immunity, because of her Hell Trial, she is also immune to +1 weapons, and that is also going to come in handy, come into play very soon actually. Yeah, so we can get, you know, some experience here, some fun from slaughtering these guys. And yeah, just normal, non-magical weapons. Well, actually, some of them have decent potions that we're going to get. Alright, one of them is trying to hide. There is nowhere to hide for you. Boom. Alright, now let's get some of these potions of invulnerability. Alright. Quite a nice slaughter here. Anyway, there's basically very, very minor treasures, and I think the key is in that chest over there. And there's going to be one of these good potions as well. And I think there's one of the smaller potions. Yeah, this one. Anyway, now we're done with the barracks. we can go outside. And I think we are going to go straight to the sewers. The first entrance to which is in here. Then there is another entrance here near the main entrance to the castle, I guess. And the other one is near Arcana Archives. And I think we're going to just use this one and showcase kind of a different strategy. I've also memorized, you know, before we... when we rested, like in the previous episode, I think, you know, I've said that I have reworked our spells a little bit. And I have prepared some...
Good to go.
oh yeah, of course you summon Mordenkainen swords kind of on you. So we're going to summon some Mordenkainen swords from both Senashira and Imoen. And we're also going to showcase this spell, Wizard's Eye. So Senashira has this Wizard's Eye spell. We're going to get another Mordenkainen sword, kind of continuing with the theme of being invulnerable to the attacks of enemies, I guess. We're going to get them. Also, Anaman is going to buff up with Remove Fear, because some of the opponents we meet here are going to be level 20 fighters, and they have access to high-level abilities, and those might be Warcries, and this Wizard Eye actually can be feared. This is basically a floating eyeball that is unique among the summons, because this one gives you vision, whereas normally, of course, summons, when you move them somewhere, they do not they are not able to like explore the unrevealed terrain, and they cannot give you vision. But Wizard Eye is different, and there's also another spell called Farsight that can provide you vision over some area far away, but it's only restricted to the area, whereas the Wizard Eye can move. And also, to make these swords more effective, we're just going to haste the whole bunch. And of course, Mordenkainen swords don't last for too long. They only last for 1 round per level, so we basically have 2 turns to have some fun here with our bunch of summons. And yeah, we won't even have to get our hands dirty here in the summons. We won't have to, well, eventually we will have to trudge through the sewers anyway, but for now we can deal with some of these guys with just using our summons. Mordenkainen swords, of course, are immune to physical damage, so we can just get rid of these guys. The Duergar Sappers are actually a little unique in the fact that they have 1 Fragmentation Skull projectile, which is very similar to the frag grenade that we will be able to get later on in Throne of Bhaal, which is basically kind of like Jan's Flasher. Oh yeah, here it is, Warcry, but this is not going to be able to fear anyone. But anyway, about that frag grenade, it's kind of like a skull trap, kind of like Jan's Flasher, that it just explodes for physical and fire damage, this one. And they have 1 in their possession, every one of these sappers. Yeah, they are level 20 berserkers, whereas I think these Orogs... I think the Orogs are also berserkers, but lower level. And then there are going to be some Umber Hulks, which is of course not going to do them any good. Yeah, they can do absolutely nothing against our little summon army here. Summon force. Okay, up is not where we need to go, or north, because there's going to be a little cutscene, and for that we're going to have to be present ourselves. We are going to have to do this personally. And I'm going in a specific route here because there are some mages that of course are going to be able to kill our summons with death spell, so I just want to explore as much as we can here, I guess. And yeah, just kill a couple of these physical damage groups, and I think our swords are going to start disappearing now. So yeah, they have basically done their job, and now unfortunately we have to take matters into our own hands. And I guess I'm going to loot these guys already. Oh yeah, Saravok has these. Alright, So first let's actually do loot a couple of these guys, and then we're going to do that cutscene, because this is going to involve a slightly more interesting fight.
What is it?
And before we go there, we probably should buff up a tiny little bit. Okay, and we're going to send Seneschal up there. Hurry, you fools! The shades will return soon. 'Tis dangerous work, Orc. If we dig too fast, the roof will collapse. Yaga-Shura isn't interested in your excuses, and I'm not interested in getting ripped apart by the shades. Burn in hell. What? Saradush soldiers have found us. Attack! So yeah, they mentioned shadows and shades that are going to appear. These shadow fiends can hold, so I think just to be extra sure, we're going to switch to our trusty Arbane's sword. And this also reveals that those are Yaga-Shura's forces, actually, that are trying to kind of dig their way below Saradush, dig their way to the castle, I guess, to take out Gromnir, or somehow, you know, gain entrance through these sewers, or through some other tunnels, you know, to be able to get that army inside Saradush. Anyway, here I think we might give them a little Abidelzim's Horrid Wilting.
Yes, I fear nothing.
And just bring our guys over there and engage in that slaughter. I think there was one of those fragmentation skulls exploded but didn't really deliver its damage onto anyone. Alright, and there's also going to be a lot of different shadows spawning around us, and they are going to, yeah, keep streaming in. And you know what that calls for? Something that never stops being fun. Turn undead. Animan wants to do some explosions for us. Boom! You missed one over there, dude. And I think that there should be... yeah, there should be some more. I know that there are going to be some devil shades, and we're going to have to be slightly careful around those, because they can level drain.
I can hold no more. That item has been dropped. Yes, if it must be done, it will be done.
Alright, time for some mage fights, I think. There should be some of these shade groups around, or we'll come up on them.
Yes, certainly.
Now, I think, since we have set up this spell sequencer, Seneschal doesn't have remove magic, and Imoen has 2, and also we have Jahir with 1 dispel magic that is going to come at level 14, which is normally pretty bad, but when it comes to these mages, there are going to be 2 mages in the sewers. Here, both are level 16, and that means that her dispel magic has some chance of working. So I think I am going to give her a chance and cast that, and if that fails, we're going to use Imoen. Well, unless there is spell immunity to abjuration, which they don't have. Alright. We'll see how this progresses. Alright, her casting was interrupted by that nasty fragmentation skull that they have. I should have really expected that. Alright, Imoen's remove magic was successful. Right, here comes a group of devil shades and shadow fiends, so we need to make Animan immune to level drain and engage in some more turn undead. And this guy had a spell trigger with spell deflection, spell shield, and protection from magical weapons, so that calls for some normal weapons that we need to switch to and then take care of him. Alright, now he's taken care of.
The sword, and I shall strike.
And now we're waiting for Animan's stuff to take effect.
Yes, quickly and precisely. What is it?
I hear you.
Boom! Nice. And those devil shades, of course, split into shadow fiends.
Speak without hesitation. Time to move?
But we're good. We're good.
The best
By the way, I actually haven't talked about this, but why we are doing the sewers is because we are going to explore both ways to get inside Yaga-Shura's castle. We're going to go both through the sewers and then through that old prison. But when it comes to the prison, I want to first wait until it's nighttime, because we're going to be able to explore a certain little option there once it's night hours. And yeah, it's 9 PM, so before we're done here in the sewers, it should probably be 10, and I think we're going to be able to
Yes, it will be
do
done.
some stuff then,
What is it?
and go through the old prison as well. Okay, Yaga-Shura has chaotic commands, and I guess Kirnai can get herself the Shield of Harmony to be immune to the Umber Hulk's confusions, and I'm going to give her Scarlet Ninja Toe because it has one more attack per round, and she doesn't have to necessarily wield a +4 weapon. So just go out there.
I thought as much. Yes.
And just take care of them. Now we can bring over the other guys. Also, you should be fighting with your Flail of Ages.
Speak. Yes, to good. May as it will.
And yeah, in the sewers you can get actually quite a bit of experience and quite a bit of this magical loot that we'll be able to sell later on. And I guess that Mage's Remove Magic dispelled her Potions of Genius buff, and now she doesn't have enough lore to identify these studded leathers +2, so we're just going to keep them on Sarvok for now. Now I think there might be another Umber Hulk. Yeah, there is one.
Yes, certainly.
There should be that other mage, I think, somewhere down there.
Without doubt.
Alright, now we can go back to our normal stuff. Now that
Speak.
that Umber Hulk is down. I'm not pre-buffing with like more chaotic commands and stuff to protect our other guys, because coming from that mage there might be some remove magics, and well, that probably wouldn't dispel our chaotic commands, but we're going to have a need for those chaotic commands a little bit later. And of course Yaga-Shura's contingency triggered with her protection from magical weapons, seeing how she was brought down below 50% health.
Yes, without hesitation.
Actually, we're going to need Imo in here. Yeah, there's that mage. So we need to
What is this?
go with Imoen's remove magic. And let's just obliterate him. And this should be it. This is going to be the last group of hostiles. By the way, this is the passage
Yes.
leading to the northeastern sewer grate. And we're going to come up on the passage to the
No more. That item has been dropped.
to the northwestern one, the one that's near Arcana Archives, in a second.
I can hold no more. That item has been dropped.
Oh, this is full already again. Almost done. Didn't want the arrows.
Yes.
Right, and here's the Arcana Archives entrance. But of course, we have not yet found the entrance to the castle. And this is going to be through here. Very similar looking layout, of course, to the Athkatla's
What is
temple
it?
sewers.
Speak.
And here we have some gibberlings. Very fitting enemy here for Throne of Bhaal.
You shall suffer my wrath.
can hold no more. That item has been dropped.
Just out of doing all of this identifying, I wanted to identify that gem.
For this direction as you wish.
There's actually a mod component in BG2 Tweaks, I think, where you can actually have different gems that you need to identify first, but not such simple ones. Anyway, now that we have found our way into the dungeons, I guess, of the castle, we get some personalized experience, but we are going to just detect the passage out, and we're going to be back later. We're not going to explore here yet, because we have that old prison situation to still do. Well, let's just quickly get out of here. Wow, time flies. I guess we're going to have to do... Yeah, it's nighttime already, and this is going to be perfect for the next episode. I guess we're going to engage
Quickly and precisely.
in some prison exploration of that undead, haunted old prison that we have unsealed, and we're going to also showcase another way to get in there. So for now, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.